Okay. It's Apri, EPRIS. Sounds like APREE. And I am at Monday.com, so leading their sales enablement program management.
Hey everybody, my name is Michael Tuso. I'm the Director of Revenue Performance at Chili Piper.
So I'm Roderick Jefferson. I'm the CEO of Roderick Jefferson and Associates. We're a sales training, sales enablement, sales coaching firm.
I put whipped cream in my coffee every morning, and I think you should all try it.
I've lived in 3 other countries, so Costa Rica, Bolivia, and Peru.
I absolutely love bocce so much that I actually have a bocce ball court built in my backyard.
Wow. Roderick, can you kick us off? Like, what does sales enablement mean to you?
I look at sales enablement as where it's going, and I'm calling it Sales Enablement 3.0, not where we've been to date. And that is really focusing on how do we help your customers maintain the customers that they have.
Enablement really isn't just like someone who is updating content and sharing content with your team, but they are key stakeholders in the company who are helping drive the results of the entire team. And so the way that we think about enablement at Chili Piper is really owning those learning outcomes that are key and directly tied to revenue.
Enabling, the outcomes and having those, learners understand, or even just the entire sales org, including the leadership team, of what are the expectations and empowering them to do that.
What are some of the challenges that you guys have faced and how did you overcome those?
How can we get folks engaged, not just interacting, right? And so now that the world has become virtual, like we are today, how do you connect and make those relationships? How do you show, compassion and EQ and and connect with people on a personal level, but still come across as authentic?
I think of the idea of becoming adaptive instead of reactive. And many times people put enablement in place like, oh, we need to do enablement. Like they wake up one day and all of a sudden it's this thing that we need to be doing. But I think that companies are quickly learning that you can use enablement to be adaptive to your team so that even in a time like this, you can still be profitable. You can still show your team how to be successful. You can still drive those really important outcomes. And that's through this adaptive mindset.
There's a lot of misinterpretation and misunderstanding, whether it's from communication, and it's empowering people to feel like in this moment of time when I'm frustrated or I have a question, do I have to wait for my one-on-one? Do I have to wait for that next sales team meeting? There's too much time that passes, and we have to be able to be responsive, but be responsive in a present way. And I think that's the biggest thing that we're trying to create, this, culture, of just honest excellence of, look, reach out, even if, I don't have the answer right away, but don't wait until the next call. And we have to separate those gaps. And if there is misunderstanding, knowing that it's okay.
In an enablement function, how do you work with your teams? Like, how do you coach that? How do you guide that? How do you empower them?
Being empathetic with your team. I start my team meetings the same way, with a simple 3-part question. And that is, and you know where I'm going, Kevin. Do you want me to listen? Do you want me to coach? Or do you want me to fix? Because it does 2 things. One, it shows you as a leader what ears to put on for the conversation, because we're natural fixers, but that may not be what we need. And it also shows the other individual that this is all about you. So you tell me how you want me to play the role today, and I will do that.
Just getting to the main concern of the prospect. And it sounds so simple to do, but in execution, it becomes much more difficult for people to do. And so I've actually created entire frameworks just around that one issue of just get to the heart of what the prospect actually cares about and mirror that back to them. And so much of this empathy conversation is not saying, oh, I'm here to help if you need me. No, it's doing something about what they're telling you they actually need help with. And then showing the sales team how to do that.
be present in this moment in time. So going back to the internal, we're doing these, reinforcement sessions, and it's us taking these subject matter experts, on time management, where people are struggling, knowing that there's interactions they've never faced before from home life, as well as being able to, let others shine. So this is kind of professional development for these individuals that, are looking to get to the next level. And we're, helping, hey, let's bring your best practices to life. Because as I'm sure many of us know, when you go to a top performer, the way they describe the things that they do is, well, I just, do this, and I go about it this way. And I'm like, okay, we got to unpack that.
For those who don't have sales enablement, what should they be thinking about of when to incorporate this into their business?
If you have a VP of sales in place and your leadership team at any point starts talking about growth, that's when you need to hire sales enablement.
I totally agree, Roderick. Like the moment I would even say hire them in tandem, that VP of sales. So then there's a synergy there. You understand what you're going for, you prioritize accordingly, and then you execute.
I literally have heard, wait until you're $50 million in revenue, right? We've all heard that. And I'm like, well, what are you gonna do in the meantime? Like,
when you've got a number of sales folks and your team is growing, your product is out there, and there are folks selling beyond just the founders. Let me be clear there. It's time to really start thinking about scalability and automation. And so I say you've got, 8, 10 sales folks. You're already in the mix of needing someone that can own the sales enablement process.
The number one thing that young people, especially anybody really, wants as a part of joining a company is always growth. How are you going to, encourage that growth of people without dedicating resources to sales enablement? I don't understand that concept in general.
Because to both your points, if you've gotten to 10 million in your company and you don't have enablement, you're not building a company. You're building the Titanic.
Yeah.
What have you guys seen? Why do companies wait so long?
I think part of it is it's our fault in enablement. We have not given a clear definition, because if you ask 10 people right now what enablement is, you're going to get 12 answers. Mm-hmm. Right?
A lot of your management, your leadership team, before that VP is likely made up of your top performers. Yeah. But, them having to play those dual roles isn't scalable.
The thing that I think is important here is that we do talk about sales enablement a lot, but no one is talking about manager enablement. And if you have one bad rep, if you can have one bad rep, that that's one quota. But if you have a bad manager, the implications of that are up to 15, or more, potential people that you are negatively impacting. So training those managers is something that we definitely need to bring to the table as a part of the discussion of sales enablement as a whole. And I just think that that's so important that we start having a more holistic discussion around that as well.